Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the League of Europe for round number 11, coming to you from uh, Autodrama Hermanos Rodriguez here in Mexico for what should be a very interesting Grand Prix as we're getting, seated into what could be well, is quite the walking away of the championship, with Poldipols leading our championship on 182 points. Of course, he didn't have the greatest of races last time out. In Portugal, only 3 points. Only picking up 3 points last time out, but his closest championship rival in Jordan JJT only picked up 148 points, or is on 148 points after picking up 9 last week. And we have a new third place sitter in the championship as well, in Ghost UK, winning last week. Got his second win of the season, of course. So he's looking to have himself a pretty good, possibly wrapping up that third place in the championship as well as we get closer to the end of the season. But we just loaded in here to short qualifying. As I'm going to get everything put up on the screen. And yes, of course, I know we're not on the screen right now, but just get it up there for when we do eventually swap over, because, of course, not all the drivers start out on track instantly. Just before we do get into the on-track action, though, as you can tell, it is just me in the commentator's booth here tonight for this 11th round of the championship. Of course, QVR Verstappen could not make it tonight, but I'm sure he's just getting me back for last week, as I'm going to change my audio so I'm not getting my ears destroyed. And yeah, so we have the first driver out on track. It's going to be, oh my, that is loud. It is going to be Old School. Old School 3000. We'll just take you through the championship standings as we are going to transition over. And we are going to pop up the different standings on the screen. We'll just retransition. There we go. So as you can see on the screen, you have the top 5 in the championship, and Poldipols, Jordan, Ghost UK. Of course, we already went through those 3, and then we have iConnects on 97 and QVR Maverick on 93. Maverick picking up 1 point last week. iConnects not finishing the Portuguese Grand Prix. Both of them are not going to be here tonight. Ecos Mats in 92 in 6th place. Of course, you can't see that on the graphic, but he's 6th place on 92 points. Did not finish last week. Evil Dragon, 74, so 18 points back from P6 in the championship. He picked up a 3rd place last time out, and from what I told, lost out on a win due to penalties. So we'll see how he gets on here tonight, but it looks like Old School is going to be coming around the final sector, through the stadium section, and onto the final few corners of this lap. And let's take you through the 17 corner Autodromo Hermanos Rodriguez here onto the pit straight, of course, crossing the pit, the start-finish line, and then activating DRS just as we go under the start and finish light. Heading through the speed trap, looking like at around 206 miles an hour as we break into turn 1. Gonna flick it back to the right as we go left for turn 2 and right for turn 3. Be careful not to invalidate there on the exit. This is extremely loud. I'm very sorry about that. A little bit. As we head into turn 4 through the first sector split, it's 28.653. Into turn 5, the right-hander. You have to be careful on the traction here as you straddle the curb and through turn 6. Flip that second apex of the hairpin at turn 6, and now as we go back over to the right-hand side, the left-hander of 7. Be careful not to cut that, and you have to be careful through here with the curves. You have to be ever so delicate as we head through 10 and now 11 as we go back to the left-hand side, and then through this kind of kink left-hander as we open up DRS for the third time on this lap, excuse me, as we head into the final sector through turn 12 and then into the stadium section of 13, 14, and 15 is that right-hander there. And now we head into the final 2 corners, turn 16 through 17. Now as you try to wind on the power as fast as you dare, it's going to be a 17-0 from Old School there. I'd imagine you get a few lap times a little bit faster than that. Of course, Poldipols being here this week. He's actually invalidated, which is not something that we normally see from our championship elect driver. I think Ibbo's heading through the final sector right now. We have Esteban, I believe, on a lap right now. He's heading through the final few corners of the lap. Let's see, he's getting a little bit of a toe off of Ibbo. Let's see what lap is going to be for Esteban. It's an 18.0, so a little bit further off than what some drivers might have been expecting. A race winner last week. Goes to UK, goes up to P3 on a 120.0. He'll be hoping for more there. I think Jav is just going to be finishing. He's invalidated though. Swip is coming to the line. He's just going to starting. There's a McLaren Evil Dragon. He's just starting. He's on mediums, interestingly enough. Same with Jamie Matt being on hards. And then we have our championship leader, who, as I already said, wasn't validated. He's going to finish the lap, though. Let's see what it was going to be for him. A 16.6, so that would have been pole position, or provisional pole position by a good, decent margin. California 5 goes onto the front row of the grid with a 17.856. Energetics just starting his lap, and then Ecos Mats as well just starting. And then I think we go back to Old School and Jordan. I think Jordan's going to be on a lap here. Old School has to be careful about blocking the Mercedes driver. He'll want to get promptly out of the way as he does, and he heads to the pit lane. Jordan coming around turn 17 onto a 16.8. That's a good lap there from Jordan, but not as fast as we've seen some other drivers do already. Brum on console. Oh, that's interesting. Of course, dropping down from Division 3 a few weeks ago and putting in some solid results. He's put himself onto 16.281, and I think that's going to be a strong contender for provisional pole, or for pole position once we progress to the final 13 minutes of this short qualifying session. I think Ghost UK is just coming to the line now. P6 to P4, 17.7 for the Alpine driver. Esteban will just go into the pit lane, same with Jav, and I think Evil Dragon is going to be the next one across the line. Of course, being on mediums, which is a weird selection. Of course, you only get 2 mediums for a weekend, and just choosing to use one of them compared to, you know, the 3 sets of soft tires that you get access to. Jamie Met to the line. He's on hards. It doesn't really matter what he does. Either way, he's invalid. Energetics invalidated as California 5 as well. And Ecos Mats, let's see what Mats is going to be able to do. The line. T4. Good lap. A 17.1. 1.6 there for Ecos Mats. So, yeah, it's going to be difficult for some of these drivers to find space, I would think, as we get through this qualifying session, because, of course, Mexico is a relatively short circuit, and it's a very technical one at that as well, especially with the long straights. So, let's just talk about, I guess, race strategy. Of course, most tracks being a hard medium. In D1, it was hard to enter because it was raining, of course. So we had the possibility of rain here in Mexico, but most drivers, I'd imagine, would being a hard medium or medium hard, whichever they feel more comfortable with. But yeah, once we do get into the race, though, past the first few laps of the race, you're going to see overtakes into turn 1 and turn 4 as your main overtaking spots, possibly into turn 12 as well at the end of that DRS straight heading into the final sector. You may see a few overtakes there if someone does have a much better pace advantage, as we saw in D1 as well. I think Swift is just going to be going to the pit lane here. There's no one else going to be on a lap, I don't think, besides Jamie Matt. Ecos Matt might just be setting up for one. He's coming into the pit lane. So, as we have a little lull in the session, let's pull up the calendar. As you can see on the screen, we've already gone through the first 10 races of the championship, all being on the left-hand side, besides, of course, Portugal, which we had last week. 2 sprint races in China and Bahrain so far on this calendar. As Esteban is just starting. Sorry for hitting my microphone there. So yeah, of course we have Bahrain, China, Japan, Abu Dhabi, Monaco, Koda, Canada, Bahrain, Imola, and Portugal. First 10 races of the championship, and of course now we have Mexico coming up already as we're in the midst of short qualifying here. Esteban into turn 4. It's pretty decent for the Ferrari. I didn't quite catch what his first sector split was, so I didn't get to compare it to his other lap. There's an Alpine there just getting out of the way. But yeah, we're going to Singapore next week, and then we have the Easter break in between Singapore and Austria. And then, of course, after the break, we go to Austria, and then we have the Netherlands. And the final 3 races of the championship are Saudi Arabia, Belgium, and then the final one is Brazil. Esteban 0.4 of a second up. This would put him well into the top 4 here. Let's see what he's going to be able to do. Or well into the top 5, excuse me. Let's see what he's able to do through the final sector. Heading into 16 here. short shifting to 4th gear, getting a decent exit. No obvious slides for Esteban, but he did lose a good 10th and a half there, so he's going to stick in the P6 for the time being. Ghost UK just started in behind him. That was a driver getting out of the way a little bit earlier on. Old School just looking to start a lap as it stands right now. Poldy Poles is on the lap. He's finding one a little bit further on. Evil Dragon just starting. Same with Jav. So yeah, I think it is going to be Poldy Poles our next one. He might have backed off actually. I think he has backed off, so we're going to go back to Old School because he is going to be the first driver on a lap right now. Heading down towards turn 1. Go as far to the left as possible without invalidating there. Should be wary of the orange sausage curbs on the inside of these chicanes here. You want to avoid them as much as possible, then use all the track on the exit to pick up as much speed as possible to start accelerating as early as possible. Now go over back to the right-hand side to prepare for the left-hander of turn 4. He's down by a 10th of a second there through the first sector as we head through 5 and 6. Now you want to kind of leave it wide on the first apex and then hit the second apex to get the best possible exit, as now we're going to slide our way into the fast corners here, keeping it in 6th gear for turn 7 as we head through 8, 9, and then into the double the chicane to 10 and 11. Looks pretty decent there for Old School, carrying as much speed as he possibly can, opening up the DRS as we head towards turn 12. Beware of the orange sausage curve on the inside. It looks like he have missed it. He's 9/10ths down, though, still on his lap time as we head into the final technical sector on the circuit as we head through 14, 15, and now breaking into 16. And a little tricky corner, isn't 16, as we head in through 17, trying to wind on the power. And he finds, what was that, 2.5 tenths, almost 3/10ths of a second there in that final sector. So Old School, well, he's up into P3 on a 16.824, well, improved by 2.5 tenths after being down by 10th, heading into the middle sector, or heading into the final sector. So a good end to his lap there. Poldy Poles is invalidated. Still yet to set a lap time, a competitive one at least. J-Met is still out on his hard tires. Evil Dragon just did an 18.1, or might be restarting, I'm not entirely sure. Jav just finished his lap. He's P8 as it stands right now. Jordan just finished as well. I think Ghost might just be finishing here, or he's already finished. And yeah, I completely missed all the rest of those laps. I am completely sorry, but yeah, I think Bram though, currently on provisional pole position, probably has the best shot at staying there as it stands right now. Energetics just started. Okay. Yeah, let's watch on board with Energetics then. Energetics currently 18th in the championship on 21 points, 3 points finishes so far this season. 4th place in Monaco, and then 5 points and 4 points in Abu Dhabi and Portugal respectively. So just finding his way in just finding his way into 18th in the championship after that last race. Of course, 19th is a Guapa, who finished 2nd in our first race of the season, who's now in Division 3. Energetics purple through the first sector as you drop down into 7 and then back right for 6, left for 9, avoiding the curbs carefully here as Energetics through 10 and 11, as now we're going to swing it back over to the left hand side, open up DRS for turn 12, 6.859. Purple in the middle sector, it says, for the Dutch driver. Into turn 13, the hairpin a little bit wide of the apex. I'm sure you would have wanted to get it slowed down just ever so slightly more. And turn 16, now you're going to try and get the best exit possible. Looks pretty solid for Energetics. Didn't have any unnecessary slides, and it was pretty close to the fastest lap in the section there was for Energetics. 16.449, just under a tenth and a, or just around a tenth and a half slower than Bram on Console's provisional pole position lap. As we're getting into the final run to the session, is just watching Swip invalidate there. Ecos Mats, I think, just finished. He improved by 3.5 tenths to a P6. Evil Dragons heading into the pit lane. And I thought I saw Alpine on a lap. That would be serial killer, actually. Just starting. So let's watch on board with the Alpine driver. Of course, one of two Alpine drivers here tonight. him and Ghost to the other one just off the pit lane, so good timing for the Alpine boys there. I know Swip is invalid, but at least we can see what he's doing. Serial Killer is actually retired in the pit lane. He didn't think he was going to be able to get a lap done, I don't think. Unless he had a quality ban, because he did not set a lap before retiring. But yeah, Swip attempting to go again here. Invalidated on his last lap into turn 1. Ideally, you want to be in a higher gear there through the first 3 corners, not the second gear. As we head into 4. Get it back over to the right-hand side for the apex of 5 there. Now into turn 6. You want to run it a little bit wide, just cut it back just a little bit, you know, just to get the exit and keep it as straight as possible so you won't lose any time through 7, 8, 9. And through the chicane 10 and 11, he's backed off, or no, he's out of ERS here is Swip. He's very low gears here is Swip. Up to P10. And now it's wide on board with Ghost UK. Very loud still. As we head through turn 5, purple first sector once again can't quite catch that split number. He's still half a second off a provisional pole position, so if he wants to get it, he's gonna have to do it on this lap because he's not gonna have the time or the ERS to go again. Goes through the middle sector to 10, a little bit wide, a little bit late on the turn in there for 10, but he gets it correct for 11. Let's see what he's going to be able to do through the final sector. He's only up by 5,000ths of a second, so wasted whatever he had going good for him in the first sector in the middle. Into the final sector, it looks pretty decent. Short shift in 4th gear, make sure he gets that traction, keeps it on the road at least. If it's not going to be faster, at least keep it on the road. Goes to UK through the final sector. Did he find any time? He found 0.2 of a second, but not nearly enough to put it on provisional pole position or onto the front row of the grid. Half a tenth off of Energetics in P2, which is really the first good result or good showing we've seen from Energetics so far in this Division 4 season. Evil Dragon's on a lap right now. Old School is just about to start. Esteban is through the middle sector split. He's up by 1.5 tenths, almost 0.2 of a second, so could possibly be challenging for top 4 position here or top 5. Let's see what he's going to be able to do. Having that 2.5 tenths lingering in the back of his mind, he spins it around at turn 15, and that is the last possible thing you would have wanted to do there. He's out of ERS, he's out of a front wing, and he's going to have to come into the pit lane, and that has completely ruined his chances of finding himself any higher than 8th place. Ecos Mats has retired. Jab is retired as well. Jab retired in the first sector, which is interesting. I'm not really sure how he's done that. He pulls to the line. Let's see what it's going to be for our championship leader. It's only P4 for the Alfa Romeo driver. Mercedes to the line. That's Jordan. He's just going to be starting, it looks like, Alpha Tauri. I think that's Ibo. Bramon Console is just starting his lap as well. And then Ghost UK to the line. He's already finished. My apologies. Evil Dragon now to the line. I think he's invalidated, so he's backed off as well. Jamie Met to the line, finally finding himself on softs, and just as the flag drops, he puts himself up into P12, and that will be the highest and the exact position in which he is starting. California 5 is heading through the middle sector right now, up by 1.5 tenths in the first sector. Let's see how he navigates the middle sectors, just sliding his way on the exit of 11. He's up by 4.5 tenths of a second, so this could put him into a half-decent position if he can find another, I don't know, 0.7 of a second, possibly. At this moment in time, he's only putting himself up 1 place. Energetics has finished, was improved on his lap time, but unable to improve position. He found another 10th at California, which only puts him into P9. There's Mercedes, that'll be Jordan. I think Jordan's down on his lap time through the middle sector. That's what he's going to be able to do here through the final. Look pretty clean through 15, maybe a little bit of a slide there in the exit, but through the final corner, he didn't find anything. worth enough to improve the position for him. Poldy Pulls has backed off. He already did his lap. The highest he'll start is P4 as he heads into the pit lane. Evil Dragon is D-rating. Didn't quite catch his split either, but all we know is that Bram on console is most likely going to be on pole position for this, to start this race. Evil Dragon goes into the pit lane. I think the other Aston Martin is Jamie Met, which is already finished. It's going to be Bram on console who will take it to the line to finish out qualifying here in Mexico. So it's going to be, I think that's going to be his second pole position, I want to say, on the season. He had one in Imola in his debut, did not race in Portugal, and he's taking pole position here in Mexico by a good 10th and a half there. Oh, Old School just finished. Oh, okay. Nice. Good lap there from Mark. Didn't even realize he was on a lap. My apologies. But yeah, doing a little bit of a cursed lap time. There was Old School 16.666 for the LOE veteran, but enough to put him, unfortunately, only in P5. It would have been pretty interesting to do a 16.666 and put him in P6, but either way, I'm sure he'll be happy with a P5 to start this race. But it's Bram on console. Well, it's two Dutchies on the front row. Bram on console, pole position, of course, and ERL Energetics now in P2. Ghost UK, our winner last week, P3 to start this one. Poldy Pulls in P4, our championship leader. Old School P5, I'm sure he'll be happy with that. And Evil Dragon podium last week, he's going to be starting 6th to try and achieve the same thing this week. The two Mercedes are on the 4th row of the grid. Jordan and Matt's California 5 is in P9, and Esteban P10. And then Jamie Matt, Swip, Jav, Ibo, and Serial Killer, who did not set a lap time, are the rest of the grid. I'm on a highway. So yeah, this shapes this up for a very interesting battle for the end of this one because, as I said, Bram did not race in Portugal, and when he did race in Imola, he was very quick. Just made a few mistakes, as Ryan B is saying, let's go Old School in Jordan. So we have some support for the old guys here in Division 4, the veterans. Well, not say old guys, we'll say veterans of the League of Europe here. So we'll just wait for everybody to pick their tires and pick their strategy, as I'm actually going to go run and grab a drink real quick because I am extremely thirsty. I hope you'll bear with me. But here we go for the formation lap. I hope you can hear me because I am very far away from my microphone, or away from my setup anyways. But here we go for the formation lap here in Division 4. But it's Bram on console on pole position, followed by NL Energetics, the two Dutchies in the Red Bull and the AlphaTauri. Where have I seen this before? I was going to say, where have we seen this before? But it's definitely not in real life Formula 1. Of course, the first problem would be two Dutchies. We'll ignore that. I struggled to plug in my iPad. There we go. Okay. I'm back fully in my chair. We can go through the tires and the strategy. Of course, I'm already seeing Bram on hards and Energetics on mediums. And what? Okay. Okay. I'm seeing Ghost UK, Poldy Pulls on hards, Old School on mediums, Evil Dragon and P6 on softs out of 3 from our 15. So, what is that? A third of our? No. I can't do math. Nice. 25%? No. 20% of our grid is on softs. I want to say. That might be horrifically off. Well, I know is that or P's on comms. You know, if you want peas on comms, I could give you. Well, might relieve myself of comms duty there, but either way, yeah. Jordan, Matt's California 5 all on mediums, Esteban on hards, Jamie Matt Swip on softs, and then you have Jab, hards, Ibo, and Serial Killer on the mediums. As the formation lap is ending here in Mexico. I'm surprised to see you here, Feral Fury. Very interesting. Ecos Matt's been disqualified as the guys at the back are just lining up into their grid slots. Esteban also disqualified from the formation lap. And what am I watching here, Jab? That is a very interesting lineup. That should be a 5-second penalty to you. But here we go for Brandon Console off of pole position, leading as we get off the grid here. Mexico has a ton of wheel spin as Energetics is already going to be into the lead, and Ghost UK doesn't really have much to go anywhere there on his hard tires. He didn't get the greatest of starts. I'd imagine Evil Dragon is having a good start. He's already up one position from P6. He's going to be looking up the inside into turn 1. He's trying to get up the inside of Poldypoles into the first corners. Ghost UK goes a little bit wide, and Poldypoles is going to be up into P3. Evil Dragon is looking to make a move on Ghost UK as well. Evil Dragon up into P4. Ghost UK down to P5, and Energetics will lead on the medium set of tires that he started on. Jordan looking up the inside of Ghost. There's a little bit of contact between the two drivers. Jordan's going to be up at a P6. Ghost is now going to have to fight with his Mercedes teammate, Ecos Matt. Matt's on the outside for turn 6. The Alpine driver trying to hold it on the inside, and I think he will. Ecos Matt will be forced off the track, but Ghost had all the right to that corner at P6. He's going to stay there for the time being. He's already dropped a few positions as we look for the position gain. Of course, the top two decided to flip on each other. Poldypoles up 1, Evil Dragon up 2. Same for Jordan. Ghost UK down 3 positions already. The next biggest loser, though, is Old School down 4 positions as Evil Dragon and Poldypoles are trying to get side by side with each other. Ecos Matt's around the outside of Ghost into turn 12, and Mercedes going to have the inside line on the better tires, and that's going to be a deal done for Ecos Matt. He's up in a P6. I think Evil Dragon made his way past Poldypoles as well through the middle sector. But Energetics leads here on the first lap, and a very good start. Bram did not on the other. Bram did not have the greatest of starts. Did not even hasn't even really done much on this first lap. Of course, I think he's struggling to warm up those hard tires. Being that it is overcast conditions here, it's gonna be much difficult. The lower track temp, of course, playing its part in that. Farrell saying I didn't even acknowledge the chance of is that being on comms because I don't trust is that to be on comms, and that's how we're going to leave that. But yeah, Evil Dragon. Evil Dragon going to be up at a P2. He's already picked up a 3-second time penalty, which is probably the story of what most of the drivers are going to be seeing here tonight. But he's still 2 seconds off of Energetics for the lead here. Bram is, keeping with him as it stands right now. Poldypoles P4, the two Mercedes, both on the mediums, P5, P6. Ghost UK hasn't dropped any more positions since being absolutely done by Ecos Matt in the final sector. Ibo's picked up a penalty, and Jav has spun around. Swip and Jamie Matt, that's Serial Killer as well, has somehow spun very late there. But we've already had 2 casualties on this lap. Serial Killer and Jav being those 2 drivers. So let's get back up towards the midfield. Energetics heading to pass the lap of the race. I'm surprised it wasn't Evil Dragon, as DRS is going to be enabled for the next lap. Of course, only having the 1 detection point, we'll be able to use it on the Swan Poldypoles, looking to get up the inside of Bram. He's not going to be quite close enough, as most drivers have already burned most of the ERS. Energetics not being one of them. He's up on 70% and sitting very nice and comfortably up at the front of the race. Evil Dragon P2, he's burning all of his ERS, trying to keep Bram behind him, who's on currently 60%, so could have a very good shot on the next lap and make his way past the McLaren drivers. If he's able to stay close and catch up to the McLaren through the rest of this lap. Poldypoles burning down to 25%, which is something that we don't normally see from our championship leader. He's P4 currently. Jordan and Matt, 2 drivers just behind them on a decent amount of ERS, so just have to be wary of not burning too much to cause the force and overtake. Of course, they are on better tires right now, but those hards are going to work for themselves into the race. His Energetics is spun up in the front of the race. He spun through the middle sector. He spun out of turn 11, and that's not what you want to see. As Esteban has crashed in almost the exact same spot just before turn 10, and now we have a virtual safety car. I wouldn't be surprised if that goes to a full safety car. As you can see the stricken Ferrari there on the side of the road. And, ooh, that's our first safety car of the evening. I would not be surprised if Energetic or Evil Dragon pit, which is going to decide not to. I still have no idea what strategy the soft runners are trying to do, because both Aston Martins are on sauce as well as Evil Dragon. So Jimmy Matt actually decides to pit. Energetic get damage? No, he's just pitting for hearts. Okay, that's interesting. So now this makes the front of the race a little bit more interesting, as we of course have Evil Dragon on the alt strategy, starting on the soft tires. Brandon Console being on the as well as Poldy Poles, the two guys who probably have the most overall pace of the field throughout the race, are both on the preferred strategy of being hard medium, I would imagine, and then you have the two guys behind them, Jordan E-Plus Mats, the two, which once the strategy flips, I would imagine it won't be quite as close to the guys just in front of them. But they're on the alternate strategy, being on the medium hard. As we're green flag racing once again after the BS took around a whole lap, so Evil Dragon could have pit and not lost quite as much as the were pit under green flag conditions, but is in P1 for the time being, is the McLaren driver, Brandon Console P2. He's within DRS range now, as DRS will be activated for the first time by any driver. Here, Evil Dragon is in order to see his D rating. Brandon Console sensing some discomfort from the McLaren driver. He's going to look to the outside. The McLaren driver is going to defend it, but he doesn't really have much of his choices. Brandon will go flying around the outside of the McLaren driver, and now I don't think Energetics is... Oh, as I say Energetics, I meant Evil Dragon is not going to really have much of a choice in the matter as what's going to happen to him, but now he's going to look to the inside of turn 4 is Bram, the AlphaTauri driver. He's going to look to the inside. He gets the inside line. Evil Dragon's still trying to keep it around the outside. He's going to be the inside for 5, but he's just going to get that line pinched off, and he's going to have absolutely nowhere to go, as Poldy Poles is now going to be the one bottlenecked up behind the McLaren drivers. Bram, I'm sure, will try and fly away up into the front of this race. He's already a half a second or so in front of Evil Dragon, but it looks like the McLaren drivers has it hooked up in the middle sector, which he did it through the first section. He turns 1, 4, 5, all struggling for traction, it seemed like. As you can already see, those hard tires are starting to work themselves into a good groove here. Of course, once you get around 5-6 laps into the race, you're going to get comfortable with those hard tires. You're going to find a rhythm that you like, and you're going to start to run away with things if you're up in the front. Poldy Poles, 7 is still with a DRS range, same for Evil Dragon, so this trade isn't going to break up quite as quickly as I might have thought, but everybody in the top 8 is all in this train. This is Bram to Old School, P1 through 8. Jordan and Poldy Poles looking to get a little bit closer together. Both of them, Jordan is derating in P4. Poldy Poles doesn't quite have the straight line speed to get onto the back of Evil Dragon, but he doesn't quite have the straight line speed either to completely hold off Jordan's challenge into turn 1, but it doesn't really matter. Jordan couldn't find his way around the outside into the braking zone at turn 1. He's going to have to stay in P4 for the time being. Evil Dragon was also having a look at Bram for P1, trying to snatch that position back off of him, because once, I think if Evil Dragon can get back into that P1, he could have a good shot at keeping it, but he's really going to have to, the main thing that he's going to be worried about is the run into turn 1, because the straight line, the pit straight is relatively large for the Formula 1 calendar. Is there another yellow flag? Oh, is that Ghost? Our race winner from last week, and that's going to be a full safety car. Okay, so, ooh, interesting. So that helps Evil Dragon, who's driving up the track. That he helps Evil Dragon and Swip. So both of them will be able to pit on the hards. I don't think the hards will be able to go to the end, depending on your pressures, because what? 22 laps in on 40%. I mean, you might be able to make it. It'll be quite the stretch. But he's going on to mediums either way, so it doesn't really matter. Anyone else into the pit lane? Old School into the pit lane. Jordan is gone on the hards from his mediums. Same for Ecos Mats. So the two Mercedes had a double stack. Swip onto mediums from his softs. And then Old School on the hards as well from his mediums. So I think everybody there making the right decision, because in the long run, you could still pit for a set of mediums. So. So, with the safety car now, it kind of, I'm not really sure why California didn't pit. Because it would have put him in a pretty good position, because I think either way you still have to pit, even if you're hitting on the hard right now. So, it's a tough situation to be put in. I think Bram and Poldipols made the right decision in staying out. Here, staying out on those hard tires, because they don't really wear. It's just kind of, every tire is kind of bad here, especially the hards. So either way, California making the weird call here of staying out on his medium tires, which will only go to lap 20. I say only go to lap 20. They will go past lap 20, but they aren't going to be very good once they do get to that point. So P4 is Evil Dragon, so even he was P2 when that safety car came out. He finds himself in P4 now that the safety car is still out, and everybody who wanted to pit has made the decision to pit or to not to pit. And he still has that 3-second time penalty, which is going to be looming over his head for the rest of this race. Jab is currently in P5. He has 7 laps on his hard tires. He has yet to pit in this race as well, but also has a 3-second time penalty. Jordan was the second driver in the order of everybody who's made pit stops so far. And I think he's still going to have to pit on the mediums eventually in this race. Jamie Met has already made a pit stop on the mediums from Sauce when the safety car came out. So he's in P7 currently. Energetics after that spin early on. Pit for hards after spinning from the lead of the race. Old School on the hards as well in P9. I think, as I've said already, I think everyone will have to pit at least one more time. Swip in P10 on the medium, Cosmetic on the hard, Serial Killer on the soft, which is an interesting one, and Ibbo on the hard. So, a lot of interesting strategy calls here. I think almost all of the strategy calls that could have been made have been made here at Mexico, which is really just a typical Division 4 race, but I guess we'll have to see how things will pan out from here. Wait, safety car's, oh, okay, safety car's in. I didn't even realize. I thought we were going to have another lap, but either way, Bram is just gone on the apex of 17 there. Poldipols is going to be following him. California 5 didn't get the greatest of restarts, but Evil Dragon is going to be past the Red Bull driver who's trying to weave and follow the slipstream. Now Evil Dragon is going to be in the slipstream of the guys in front of him. He doesn't have the greatest amount of straight line speed advantage over California, but he's going to be the outside of turn 1, which is kind of the preferred line through turn 1, as you're going to have the inside for 2, and then the outside for 3. Oh, that's contact between Evil Dragon and California 5, and California will go all the way down to P10, down to the back of the grid. Just in behind Ibbo there. I think Old School dropped a few plays as well, but Bram leads for Poldipols from Evil Dragon. Jab MP4, who's yet to pit in this race, drifting it all over the place through turn 4 and 5. Jordan's going to be right behind him on his fresh hard tires. Energetics P6, P7 is Jamie Met, and then Old School, the next driver on fresh tires, is in P8. He's going to be hoping to work his way up this field as well, but Evil Dragon is right on the back of Poldipols. You can already see Evil Dragon is trying to use the pace advantage that he has on these fresh medium tires. Whereas Poldipols, I think, just making the smart decision there, just letting the McLaren driver through. Of course, he's already been dropped from DRS range to Bram and Poldipols, so I think just making the smart decision there. Gonna let Evil Dragon cook and get up back onto the Alpha Tower just in front of him. Of course, he has some unfinished business with Bram. After the Alpha Tower was able to overtake him before the safety car just came out. A Serial Killer and Old Score going side by side. A Serial Killer flying his way past driver, but using most of the DRS in the process. Jab and Jordan going side by side. Jab the outside for 1. Jordan trying to make the overtake the inside of 1. Ooh, Jab goes a little bit wide into 2, and it's just going to cut Jordan off there. And Jordan really not going to have a choice other than just sitting behind and wait for DRS. His Energetic, so is right on the back of these guys as well. He's looking to find his way back into this Grand Prix. But Jab just holds his nerve for the time being. He's going to keep Jordan Energetic behind for at least another lap or two. JB Met, Serial Killer, Old School, Matt Swift, all in this train as well. So I wouldn't say it's starting to spread out, but the top three have really started to get away from the rest of the field. Polypole struggling to the second and a half off of Evil Dragon. His Jab picks up another 3-second penalty. That was going to be the second of the evening, I believe. We got it. Yeah, as you can see, 3 seconds for Ibbo, 3 seconds for Evil Dragon, 6 for Jab and P4. As we're watching on board with Polypoles, who doesn't really have much going on for him right now, as DRS will be enabled for the second time in this race. Evil Dragon setting the fastest lap of the race on a 19.997. And he was able to find himself in a DRS range, but of course not going to be able to use it quite yet. Ooh, Jordan attempting to make his way past Jordan. Serial Killer and Jamie Met have gone side by side, and I think the Alpine is going to win out in that one, because Matt has also made his way past Old School for P9, and now Ecos Matt's looking to make a move on Jamie Met. Is going to be able to get 2 in a single lap. Ecos Matt's around the outside of 4, and I think he's going to get that one done. Jamie Met really just doesn't have much to give when defending that place from Ecos Matt. So what took Serial Killer 2 laps to do only took Ecos Matt 1. Or not even 1. It took 5 corners to do that. Evil Dragon's picked up his second penalty, that will put him on 6 seconds of penalties, which he'll lose out at the end of the race. So Evil Dragon really struggling to keep up with our race leader right now, being on the much fresher and softer tires. Jab losing up Jordan there into turn 12, which is an interesting one. He didn't quite catch it on screen, but I'm sure it was a very nice move from Jordan, probably just off the inside. As you can see, he was a little bit wider than Jab was going into 15. Now Jab is going to have the DRS. He's going to have the one that has the advantage down the straight, ideally. But Energetics is still looking to make a move on Jab. Ooh, Jab moves a little bit late and kills all of Energetic's momentum, but it's still really regain a little bit. Jab is going to break late into turn 1. Energetics breaks a little bit sooner, but he's getting to the inside for 1, outside for 2, inside back again for 3. Jab is just going to have to concede the position, and Serial Killer gets caught out. He gets caught kind of out of place, and Jab going to slowly exit the corner after being overtaken, and that's going to be Ecos Matt in another free position. In 3 places in 2, as Serial Killer is up the inside. How in the hell did he get that stop and not run into either Matt or Jab there? I have absolutely no idea, but those soft tires should have taken him into at least 1 car, but they didn't, so good for them, I guess. But yeah, Serial Killer a little bit reckless on the brakes there, and wasn't able to do anything about it. Ecos Matt's getting held up behind Jab. Knows the gap between the Mercedes and the Red Bull of Energetics widened to 1.7 seconds. His Jab now he's defending, but not really defending, as Ecos Matt gets a little bit of a tap. It looked like there from Serial Killer, just kind of walked him across the face of that hairpin there on the apex, and now Jab getting all over the road. Ecos Matt is going to have DRS. Jab will not. Jab derating. Ecos Matt, I don't even think we'll have to use DRS here, but Jab is just weaving, trying to break the toe, and is doing what it's supposed to do for the most part, but it doesn't really matter too much, as Ecos Matt is going to be through, and Serial Killer, I would imagine, will be the next one to make his way through in a couple of corners. Let's see what happens though, because Jab still won't have DRS, but at least he'll have the slipstream from Ecos Matt. The 2 drivers in front of Serial Killer running off the road, trying to pick up as much momentum as possible, but Serial Killer doesn't have any ERS. He's going to look to the inside. He sends an absolute bomb from miles back up the inside of turn 4, and he isn't going to be able to get that one done. Jab had it covered, but he's still defending with all of his might through the rest of this middle section here off of the hairpin of 6. Jab all over the road and losing time as well in the process, and he's not going to be able to, Serial Killer isn't going to be able to do anything to compromise with Jab on that one, as Jab will hold on to a 7th position, and will lose another 1.5 seconds to the driver that just overtook him. As, while we were watching that battle, Jordan and Energetic have started to get quite close to each other, only half a second separate those two. JB Met still in the back of this battle for P7, same with Stupid California, as well as Old School, who's kind of just fighting in the background here. but up in front, Bram leading by 2 seconds. Evil Dragon, 2 seconds behind him, 1.7 in front of Holy Bulls with a 6-second gap back to Jordan, and really the rest of the field, if you want to look at it that way. Energetic's just holding on to DRS, same as for Ecos. Matt's Jab hasn't really had much to do over these last few laps, but just defend, and that's what he's going to be doing here into turn 1. Serial Killer has made his way past the Haas driver. Swip looking to make a move now as well, as we mentioned already a few laps ago. Jab isn't going to have the DRS here. He's going to have to defend once again from his previous teammate. It's Swip who will stay in P9. Jab will stay in P8. Jab braked very late and is also kind of stopped in the apex of 5 there, as Swip kind of ran into the back of the Haas driver, and I think it's going to be P8 for Jab, and Serial Killer is going to be off into the distance as the soft tires will start to wear away and wear down in terms of grip, and Serial Killer will be forced to make a pit stop very, very soon. Jab will have his, his 8th place back eventually, because Swip just got past it, and as I say that, Jamie Matt looking up the inside with DRS and ERS, and breaks very, very late contact between the two drivers. Jab gets set wide on the exit of turn 12 there, and Jamie Matt just kind of lets everybody through, and it's going to be down to P12, which is an interesting decision. I didn't think he did too much wrong there, besides just sending Jab to Narnia, but either way, he let everybody else through, and Jab has picked up an illegal overtake, which I'd say he'd be able to get removed, but he gets to make a pit stop, so it won't. Energetics and Jordan swapping places now. Energetics very deep into turn 1, but just enough, just controlled enough to keep P4 for the time being. Jab and California 5 going side by side. Jab outside of turn 1, which means the outside of turn 3. California on the inside kind of gets pinched on the apex there between the Sasha curb and Jab's car. Jab's going to hold the position for the time being, but we'll go up to turn 4. Old School already making a move. He made a one around the outside of California and around the outside of Jab. So Old School up into P9. California, oh, he's tapped Old School, and that's going to send Old School around at turn 5 there. Jab and California now go side by side, but California's going to have to hold the position. So Old School made a brilliant move to get around the outside and get to position into turn 4, and California just completely ruined all of Old School's progress that he made after that safety car restart. And just to top it off, Jab picks up his 7th, 8th, and 9th seconds of penalties as well. Now watching on board with the battle for P4s. California 5 is going to be into the pit lane, I imagine, with front wing damage. Energetics P4, Jordan and Ecos Mats at the back of this train as well. All 3 of them on hard tires. Of course, Energetics on 12-lap old hard tires, which are 3 laps older than Jordan and Mats. The Red Bull driver just holding them off for the time being, even though the 2 Mercedes both have DRS, but Jordan has barely any ERS. Ecos Mats has a little bit more, but I think Jordan is the faster out of the 2. So Energetics will hold a position for the time being. He's still in P4 as we head into the middle sector through 7, 8, 9, and now 10 and 11. Energetics not gonna, well, he's going to be able to hold him off for the time being. We also have another battle out on track that's starting to formulate. We have Evil Dragon versus Polypolis for P2. Out on track, of course, Evil Dragon, 6 seconds of penalties to his name currently. Polypolis with no penalties or warnings that we know of. Polypolis closing in. Yeah, I think this is going to be a very easy overtake unless Evil Dragon decides to swipe him, but yeah, I think that's going to be moved on for Polypolis. He's going to have DRS on the next straight as well, just to secure that lead that he has. As Jamie Matt picks up a 3-second time penalty in behind Jab. It looks like he's going to be trying to make an overtake. Jab will just stay on the left-hand side of the track, and Jamie Matt's going to get that one done. And Jamie Matt's going to be up into P9. As Bram on console still leads this race as we're on lap 17, looking to get onto lap 18 in just a sector now for the Alpha for our leader. Jordan and Matt's still getting well, Jordan and Matt still relatively close to each other. Evil Dragon still in P3, right up behind Poldypolls, which is putting together a pretty solid performance. Is Evil Dragon, even though he does have the 6 seconds of penalties, which is not currently costing him. Serial Killer has gone around. I'd imagine it's those soft tires being absolutely dead, which has caused that one, and of course causing the yellow flags as well. So Serial Killer will be down to P11 now, and he's going to have to make a pit stop, which will probably be 4 mediums if he does have another set. Jab and Old School swapping places. Looks like Old School was able to get that one done into turn 12 through 13 as well. And he's going to be up into P9 and already pulled a pretty decent gap over his reserve teammate. Oh, Jordan's struggling really here, isn't he? It looks like Ecos Mats does have the pace just over him ever so slightly there. Jordan not having any DRS, but Ecos Mats unable to do anything about it really. Of course, Ecos Mats still has more ERS than Jordan. Jordan being on a solid 14, Ecos Mats being on a solid 41. So it might be smart for Jordan just to kind of let this one go, but it looks like he's closing back up to the Red Bull in front of him here through the middle sector. Just to mention the lead battle as well, Poldypolls and Evil Dragon still yet to break ties yet. Evil Dragon is holding on to the coattails of Poldypolls here, trying to stick with his DRS. He's actually very close here. Well, he was within 4/10 of a second at one point in the final sector. It's dropped to 7/10 of a second, maybe just making a mistake through 16. As Evil Dragon almost a second off of his personal best lap there. And he's grabbed DRS, which he's not going to be able to do anything with, besides just close the gap down to under 7/10 of a second. As we head into turn 1, almost under 6/10 of a second there, which would have been very surprising. Which means he's running low wings, and Poldypolls is running high wings, probably. Jordan and Matt's getting close once again. Kind of Matt's just sending empty threats, not really able to do anything about Jordan being kind of slow. See what the Dutch driver is able to do. Matt says Dutch, right? Matt says Dutch. Yes, he is. So now that we've gotten past the safety car on lap, which ended on lap 6, 7, we're 12 laps past the safety car now, roughly. So Bram still leads by 5.6 seconds to Poldypolls, which we kind of expected, kind of alluded to before the safety car happened. Before people made their pit stops. Bram and Poldypolls still have to make mandatory stops as well onto either a medium tire or a soft tires. Oh! Oh! That's going into the pit lane. How has he done that then? It looked like, just as we were talking about pit stops, Bram made a mistake going into the pit lane and locked it all up, or had a slide or something and hit the pit wall there, which would not have been fun. And Poldypolls and Evil Dragon have managed to get past the safety car, so this completely, well, I don't want to say saved them, because most people are going to have to make up this up either way, but it's going to close up the field, and everyone's going to relatively keep in their same spots. Ibbo's picked up a 3-second penalty. How? No idea. But Energetics, Jordan, Jamie, Matt, Old School, Serial Killer, Jab, all on mediums. Ibbo and California are going to be pitting here as well. The top 4 are going to be pitting as well, but you still have to push. Actually I'm not sure. I think everyone's still to a Delta currently because they did not cross the line. Or they might have crossed the line. No, I think they're still to a Delta. Poldypolls isn't pushing. Oh, it's only once you catch the safety car, I think everyone gets off the Delta. But Poldypolls, Evil Dragon, Matt. What happened to Matt? Circle back. Either way. And Swift all going to be into the pit lane. Which means Energetics, Jordan, Jamie, Matt, Old School, Serial Killer, Ibbo, Jab for California will not have to pit. Ibbo hasn't pit. What? Okay, Ibbo. Evil Dragon, Poldypolls will make the smart decision, go on to mediums. Ecos Matt will be forced on the mediums. Swift is going to be an interesting one. It was, that is just ruined. It's here because after it, I think. Swift is gonna have to go on to. Does he have another set of mediums? It looks like he does. I don't know if they're fresh. I mean, it looks like they're fresh. But either way, Swift has found himself in the P6 here, which is surprising. But yeah, there's your relatively final order for the safety car restart. Polypoles leads Evil Dragon, who has 6 seconds of penalties. Evil Energetics are who started in P2. Who started in P2 is going to be in P3. Jordan, because Matson and Mercedes have not been separated at all in this race so far, will be P4, P5. The 2 Aston Martins will be P6, P7. Old School in P8, Serial Killer P9, and Iva will be P10. And as it stands right now, everybody who finishes 90% of this race will score points. Of course, Eloise scoring points for the top 12. So it looks like it's going to be another week of Ivo podiums. Or podiums? Another week of Ivo possibly scoring points. He's already scored 8 this season. Yeah, he's already scored 8 points this season. He scored in 4 points finishes, all of them being 11th places. Well, he picked up 2 in China, which was a sprint weekend, 2 in Abu Dhabi, 2 in Canada, and 2 last week out in Portugal. So it looks like all 11-point finishes, I believe, for Big Man Ibo. Unless he magically picked up a 10 and then a 12 in China, which is an exact 2 points for 21. Graham has said that he is very stupid in the Division 4 chat on Discord, which I agree with, because he threw away what was looking to be a very convincing victory in order to get his first points of the season, as the safety car is going to be in on this lap. Polypoles will lead from Evil Dragon as we're getting ready to go once again here in Division 4. Polypoles, our championship leader, has found himself in another good position here. I don't want to say has paced himself into a good position here by staying on track. Polypoles will lead from the safety car. So I can get onto the race leader. The Alfa Romeo waiting very late before getting going. It is completely caught out Evil Dragon. Evil Dragon was completely lost to that safety car restart because he is now Jordan up into P2, Energetics up into P3, Ecos Matt's looking to chase down the McLaren driver as well, but Jordan I think is going to be well and clear P2, and as I said, the Energetics is going to be well and clear P2 as Evil Dragon is going to back off. He's going to be fighting for P6 here. Almost. He could possibly drop down into that 6th position, but it looks like Ecos Matt's going to make his way past the McLaren driver as Evil Dragon will go off the track on the exit of turn 3, trying to find any space on the outside of Ecos Matt's down the inside of turn 4. Evil Dragon swerving all over the road, trying to find any amount of space that he could possibly fit his McLaren-sized car into, but he's not going to be able to do anything about that. So Polypoles will lead a second and a half to Jordan in P2. Energetics just in behind him. Ecos Matt now in P4. The 2 Mercedes have finally been split up in this race, but only by 1 car, and it was a car that was right in front of them for most of this race already. Evil Dragon in P5. He dropped down from P2 after being completely lost in that safety car restart. Swift in P6. Jamie Met in P7. Old School and Jab P8. P9. California in P10. Serial Killer will have to start to drive through eventually. Ivo in P12 then as well as going to get back up to the front of this race. Polypoles setting a purple, allegedly purple to the sector. up at the front of the race, pulling another 10th to Jordan as we head through the middle, through the final. And Jordan staying in P2. We won't have DRS for another DRS activated for another 2 laps or so, as we're on to lap number 24, and everybody's going to start getting used to these medium tires, going to start working them and getting them into a groove. A serial killer pit surface drive-through penalty for speeding out of safety car. Not too many close gaps here. We've California and Jab. We have Energetic and Jordan up at the front as well, which could be an interesting fight between these two. Sounded like Matt's got very close to the back of that Red Bull, didn't he? Evil Dragon dropping off a little bit. Jab and California 5 are battling. In the turn 4, looks like California was up the inside of turn 4, around the outside of 5, around the outside of 6 now as well. Trying to do the old switchback, but isn't going to be able to do too much about that. Jab will hold P9 for the time being and stays within a second of Old School, his teammate, just for this weekend. But now we're going to head back up to the battle for P2 because Jordan still has Energetic to contend with. Same with Mats and Evil Dragon, who will not be looking to let this one slide, especially Evil Dragon, who's been in such a good position for most of this race, and he does have 6 penalties, as mentioned. Saying to turn up my microphone. I could do that. Turn down the game audio a little bit as well. But here we go. Energetics looking onto the back of Jordan into turn 1. He isn't going to be able to do too much about that one. I should probably make sure that my mic is on the right one. I am on the right one. Nice. Was the right output. Ecos Mats looking on the back of Energetics, but he isn't going to be able to do too much into turn 4. Of course, DRS not being activated, so not being able to open those rear wings quite yet to make overtakes. Jab in California still battling it, duking it out. I missed California overtaking Jab for P9. Jab unable to do anything about getting that position back as it stands right now. Back up for the battle of P2 as everyone kind of threads their way through the middle sector. Jordan in the gap between him and Energetics really hasn't changed too much over the lap. Ecos Matt still within 3.5 tenths of a second. Evil Dragon has dropped off a little bit from these top 2, or from 2nd through 4th. He's going to be slightly out of DRS range. His DRS is going to was activated on the final lap, or the previous lap, wasn't it? Yes, it was. So now DRS will be available for these guys to use, and I think Jordan will be kind of a sitting duck if Energetics decides to go for the move here. He's going to look to the outside of turn 1, and Jordan really isn't going to have much to do about this. He's going to try and keep it on the inside, though. He doesn't have the corner. Energetics will have the space, and he's going to be able to get up into P2, and he's going to have the DRS, so he's going to have the double bite of the cherry. Does Energetics, so does Ecos Matt, so does Evil Dragon. Jordan trying to keep onto the back of the Red Bull driver just in front of him, but he doesn't have any ERS to remake that overtake. And Energetics, all he has to do is open that rear wing and sit in a straight line on the racing line. Ooh, is Jordan making a desperate dive up the inside of turn 6 there, and Energetics had to get out of the corner to avoid what could have been a terrible crash for him. I think he made the right decision there, just trying to get out of the way before ruining both of their races, as Jordan would have been the cause of that one, or he could have just, took it and gotten Jordan a possible penalty as California spun in the middle sector. And now, as we get on to the next lap, it's literally just going to be the same exact story. Jordan no ERS, Energetics has ERS and DRS, and he's going to have the slipstream as well, which is all going to be put in his favor here for Energetics. Let's see what the Dutch driver is going to be able to do here. Energetics, though, had a terrible exit off of the final corner. Ecos Matt's looking to get involved in this battle as well, but I don't think he's going to be able to. He's already used half of the battery that he had stored for that straight. Energetics looking to make a move at Jordan. He's took the early turn into turn 1, possibly trying to get the better run through turn 3 here. He's going to have DRS once again. Jordan will not. Jordan also derating, as you see on the back of that Mercedes. That red flashing light is going to look up the inside. No, he's not. Energetics will just stay in behind. It's a little bit deep into turn 4, but I don't think it's going to hurt him too much. As long as he's able to get within DRS range and stay about 7 tenths or so, I think he could have a possible shot at making an overtake. He does have the ERS to burn, And of course the DRS will not hurt either. Evil Dragon picking up, what is it, 12 seconds or is that 9 seconds for him? That's 9 seconds for Evil Dragon. A serial killer is the fastest lap of the race, down to P12. On the softs, Ibo with 6 seconds, Jamie Matt with 3, Jab with 12. Currently, as we're just riding on board with Energetic, there isn't really much to talk about. We're just going to wait for the Red Bull driver to make his move, and I'm sure he'll make it early. So we're heading off the final corner. No major mistake for him. He lost another 1/10 of a second there, 1/10 and a half, if you're being generous. But Energetic's 6.5 tenths of a second, which is close enough to make an overtake, just because this pit straight is so long. He's going to be within range. Jordan moves to the inside, gives the better line, in my opinion, to Energetics. He just gives it up for free. Jordan will keep the line, though. Ecos Mats is going to find his way up into that position as well, as Evil Dragon is also going to make an appearance back up into P4, which I didn't think it was going to be possible after what happened already. But now the two Mercedes are going to be back and nose to tail once again here for P2 this time, instead of what was P5 behind Energetics in P4. Before that second safety car. So yeah, Poldypole still leads, 4.8 seconds is his lead over second place, and it looks like he's going to be pulling another 7 points or so on Jordan in this championship battle. So Poldypole will go, well, he'll go in the lead by another 7 points. Energetics falling off slightly. I say slightly being half a second, which is close enough to make a move, but not if you lose 2 positions on a single lap in a single corner, which isn't ideal, really. But Ecos Mats is now going to be on the back of Jordan. Ecos Mats having ERS, he burns a little bit of it, which is don't think is going to be necessary. Jordan burns a little bit of his ERS as well. Ecos Mats just using the DRS and the slipstream to get side by side with his Mercedes teammate. Energetics looking to make a move on Evil Dragon as well. He's going to be able to do that. Evil Dragon having very high wings, it looks like, because Energetic kind of just breezed past the McLaren driver, and there wasn't really much he could do about it. As Ecos Mats up into P2, Energetic back up into P4, and the Red Bull driver looking to try and snatch a podium from one of these two Mercedes drivers who currently lead the Constructors' Championship, I do believe. Let me have a quick look. Yes. Leading the Constructors' Championship. California sets the fastest lap of the race now, down to P11. Of course, anyone who finishes this race as it stands right now will score points, so getting the fastest lap point will count towards your total tally at the end of the season. So you watch on board from Evil Dragon. Energetics all over the back of Jordan. Jordan's still derating. He has a DRS to hold on for now. Let's see what he's going to be able to do through the final sector. It does look like Ecos Mats, though, has the pace over his second place in the championship teammate, who has been faster for most of the races this season. As Evil Dragon whacks the wall there at turn 16. Jordan is going to have DRS, it does look like, and barely held on to it. And Energetic's just going to use that ERS as a blast right past the Mercedes driver. So Jordan's going to be down to P4, Energetic's up to P3. Ibo has had a spin. I would be heartbroken if that was a safety car. Could make for an interesting few laps, though. But Ibo is continuing on. And now it looks like it's going to be Ecos Mats versus Energetics, the two Dutchmen for the final podium spot. Energetics a purple first sector after breezing past Jordan there with DRS, using a little bit of ERS as well. I don't think he'll get anywhere near competitive sector times through the middle or the last, considering that we have had two drivers on soft tires for 4 laps or so. But now pitting as well for soft side, imagine. But we do still have this 4-ish car battle for P2 and for the final 2 spots on the podium. But if it looks like the two big contenders for P2 are going to be the P2 and P3, as P4 has dropped all the way off, almost out of DRS range for Jordan. He's able to close up just enough. I think he might just be out, if anything, by 1,000th of a second. He might have just closed enough for turn 16. But let's see if he's going to be close enough, as Energetics well within DRS range, and Jordan lucky to hold on to DRS there. But Energetics has DRS on Ecos Mats, so he's going to be able to close that distance. He won't be close enough to make an overtake, because it looks like Ecos Mats is a little bit superior to Jordan in a straight line. As you can see, Energetics was able to pull away from Jordan in the DRS. Old School making his way past Swip into turn 1, which will be a good move for him up the inside and he'll take home P6. It looks like, as all he has to do is get within 9 seconds of Evil Dragon, which is already 5.7 seconds within Evil Dragon, and he'll get a P5 to his name, which will be where he started, which could be a very good recovery drive for Mr. Old School 3000. As Poldypulse has made a mistake, it looks like, because the gap for the lead has dropped down to 3.8 seconds, 3.9 now. I think it was up above 5 just a few laps ago. But yeah, now Jordan has really started to fall off, and Evil Dragon is right on the back of the Mercedes driver in turn 12. I don't think he's going to be able to do anything. Evil Dragon will just have to stay in behind for now. Both of them lacking in the ERS department. But eCosmats and Energetics aren't having the same problems that they were, but Energetics really struggling out of that final corner. The gap opens up by 10th or 10th and a half every single time he comes out of that final corner behind someone. eCosmats is derating very early on down the straight, but not fully derating quite yet. Energetics doesn't use any of his battery. He'll just stay in behind for another lap as he is, well, very close to not being close enough to make an overtake. The gap was half a second as it got down to the end of the straight. And a good chicane there for Energetics, which will put him within 0.4 of a second as they get into the braking zone for turn 4. And I'll just hold this position for now. eCosmats putting together a solid drive for himself, really. Let's take a look at the position gains. Yeah, up 6 positions. Poldypulse is of course qualifying 4th. He's up from said position on the grid at 2P1 after Bramon console in goes. Both had problems early on. eCosmats up 6 positions up into P2 as it stands right now. Energetics, of course, started on the front row. He's down to P3. Jordan up 3 positions. Evil Dragon up 1. Old School down 1 as it stands right now, but I think he'll get that P5 on penalties. Swift and Jap both up 5 positions as it stands right now. Jamie Met up 2. California 5 up down 1, and then Zero Color and Ibbo up 4 and 2 respectively. So a lot of good races for some of the drivers, and if anybody lost positions, there was only 1. So really good for them. eCosmats not going to get DRS off Ibbo here. Who is, of course, being lapped. Energetic team very close to the back of the Mercedes driver, though, and he'll lift off and then brakes it extremely late. Poldypulse struggling. I'm not sure what Poldypulse is doing right now because that gap is dropping. Not very quickly, but it's noticeably dropping as we're on to lap 33 now. Ooh, Jordan and Evil Dragon going side by side. Evil Dragon to look to be up the inside. Went very deep into turn 4 there. He's going to have the inside line for 5 and for 6. They're still swapping positions. Is Jordan going to be outside for 6? Let's see if he's going to be able to get the run into 7. He's going to hold the inside line for 7, and Evil Dragon is going to try and cut it back. He's not going to be able to do anything about that. He'll just hold on to the position now, for now, will Jordan. So now we have 2 battles for possible good positions here. Jap on the back of Swip as well, down for P7. Jordan versus Evil Dragon, though, I think is going to be the one battle that we're going to want to watch because Jordan's been struggling. Evil Dragon is kind of in a rhythm here, which isn't what we have with Energetics and eCosmats. If anything, Energetics is kind of falling by the wayside too. eCosmats is absolutely flying currently. He's catching Poldypulse, which is quite the feat considering the rest of the season. Energetics out of slipstream range, so he's going to lose a little bit in possible game time there by losing so much to the rest of the lap. I don't know why he's lifting off unless he needs to save fuel. As Jordan and Evil Dragon will go side by side once again. Jordan up the inside, Evil Dragon going around the outside. Will take the long way around, which is going to compromise him through 2 and 3, which possibly could get him a worse exit. But he's going to have the DRS either way. Jordan going to be looking up the inside, or around the outside, and I don't think he's really going to be able to do too much about that. Evil Dragon will keep P4. Jordan will go down to P5, and we'll see how Jordan fares once again behind another car. Exit off the 6th there, which kept him as P4 before that. You know, Old School is catching these 2 as well, which could be very interesting. Of course, that could have just been because Jordan was leading and was struggling with his tires. As we go up to P3, we're on to lap 34 here. This Jab has picked up another penalty, which will be 15 seconds for the Spaniard. But Poldypulse is going to be exiting the final corner. He's losing a little bit of time. He's just not pushing, I don't think. As we're going to go on to the penultimate lap of the race. eCosmats will finally break DRS range to Energetics. Energetics is not going to get any sort of DRS. Jordan and Evil Dragon. Jordan looking to the outside. The Evil Dragon has just enough straight line speed to hold back the Mercedes driver, who's been struggling in a straight line really here tonight. Oh, very deep there into turn 4 was Jordan. Able to keep a half decent gap, but I'll have to be wary of that DRS range. Same for ERL Energetics. But I think this is how most of these results are going to stand. Well, either way for Jordan, as long as he doesn't pick up 9 seconds of penalties in the final lap and a half here, he'll get his P4. As Jeff is spun, which won't really do too much for him because he already had 15 seconds of penalties. He's spin again. The only person he could be losing to is California 5 as it stands right now. Serial Killer will get out of the way as he is the back marker. And of course, that drive-through really not helping his case. And a few spins as well. But we're on the final lap now. We have Oldie pulls up in the lead. We're going to watch on board with our race leader just because he's been well, I don't want to say. Since that second safety car, he's been very, very good. He's dropped a little bit of time to Mats and Energetics and to the rest of the field since he got out into that comfortable lead right after the safety car. And now Jordan looking to possibly make a move on Evil Dragon. I don't think it's going to happen. No, he has the DRS. He's going to look at a turn 4. He's going to look up the inside. Evil Dragon's going to brake extremely late just to cover that position. And I think he's going to keep it as Serial Killer will just phase through Jordan, which can be very, very annoying, especially if you're coming up to this point of the circuit. I think Serial Killer is going for the fastest lap, even though he is on mediums. But I think that's going to be it for this one, because we're heading into the stadium section for the final lap of the race, as the fireworks will go off in the background. You can hear them, you can see them coming from the grandstands. But if Poldy Pulls is going to take another race victory here this season, that's going to be his 4th of the season. 5th of the season, excuse me. And he takes home P1 here in Mexico after underperformance, I'd say, in qualifying. Only P4 for him, which I'm sure will be a little bit disappointing, but either way, I think he'll be happy with that victory. Ecos Mats will take home a very deserved P2, which will move him in front of iConnect and Maverick in the standings, up to P4. Sorry about that. But yeah, I'm sure Ecos Mats will be very happy with that performance and moving up into P4 in the championship. And deservingly gets driver of the day as well from the in-game fans. P3 Energetics, very good result for him. We'll move him up. What was that? 36 points for him. Put him in front of Robertson in the championship. P14, which I'm sure he'll be relatively happy with, as you see Poldy Pulls moving his way onto the podium. Jordan P4, disappointing result for him, I'd say. I'm sure he could tell you something different, but losing that many points to Poldy Pulls in a championship that's already almost done isn't going to help him. Old School P5, I'm sure he'll be very happy with that result. Let's see where Old School is in the standings right now. He's P9, which give him a decent amount back on JB Met, who's just in front of him in the standings by 9 points. So, Swip P6, good result for him. Evil Dragon P7 was looking to challenge, had P4 on the road, but the 9 seconds of penalties really did cost him. Jeff P9, even with his 15 seconds of penalties. And then California 5 P10, he'll take him home an extra point, which will be 4 points for him. Him and Jeff will both score 4 with the fastest lap. Serial Killer in P11 and Ibbo P12, which is a very deserving point for Ibbo. And our drivers of the day, well, of course we have to go with Ecos Mats, of course finishing P2, and then I think I'll throw and swip there, P6 to P, or P12 to P6. A good result for our lobby host. And let me throw this in the commentator's chat. We have Pole B, Pose, Mats, Swip. I think, yeah. So yeah, that's gonna be it here for Division 4. Is a slow burner there in Mexico. We had a very nice, decent amount of racing. The safety cars really played their part. Bram, of course, being the cause of that second one, which really shook up the field right towards the end there and brought everybody closer together, which brought some interesting battles there at the end. But yeah, that's gonna be it for Mexico. We go to Singapore next week, and then we have our break off, a week off for Easter, and then we're coming back to Austria, I believe. So we'll hope to see you guys for those next 2 races over the next 3 weeks. And of course, I would love to see you back here. I believe 6:30 UK for D1 and D3 next week for Singapore, and then 8:10 UK for D2 and D4, where hopefully me and QleenVigor Verstappen will be paired up once again in the commentator's booth to take you through the action of the Singaporean streets. But that's going to be it here for Division 4. I'd like to thank you guys for watching.